When technology billionaire Elon Musk enters Judge Beatrice Thornwald's courtroom without a lawyer to defend himself in a high-stakes patent case, she can't help but laugh. After 30 years on the bench, she's seen everything. But never has someone as wealthy been so foolish. Little does she know that Musk's shaky performance conceals a brilliant legal strategy. As Magnatech's expensive lawyers present their seemingly flawless case, the judge continues to mock Musk's inexperienced approach. But, behind his jumbled papers and confused demeanor, a trap is being laid that will surprise everyone in the courtroom, particularly the judge who underestimated him. Judge Beatrice Thornwald used her gavel 3 times. The sound echoed throughout courtroom 7 of the San Francisco Federal Building. "The court is now in session," she announced, her voice as sharp as a knife. Case number 2025, CV 7842, Magnatech Industries vs. Musk Innovations. Judge Thornwald had been on the bench for 30 years. She had seen everything at that point. Tech billionaires, movie stars, and corrupt politicians. Neither of them scared her. None of them impressed her, either. So, when Elon Musk entered her courtroom without a lawyer, she couldn't help but smile. Another wealthy individual who believed that he was exempt from the rules. "Mr. Musk," she said, looking down at her papers, "my records show you're representing yourself today. Is this correct?" Musk stood up. He wore a simple dark suit with no tie. "Yes, Your Honor." A whisper echoed throughout the courtroom. Even the court reporter raised an eyebrow. Judge Thornwald described it as a bold decision. "So, let's not waste time. Please provide opening statements. Magnatech, you are up first." Magnatech's attorney, Dominic Reeves, approached the bench. He was tall and polished in an expensive suit, with slick gray hair and glasses that likely cost more than most people's cars. "Your Honor," Reeves began, "this case is quite straightforward. Mr. Musk's company stole our client's innovative battery design. We hold the patent. We have the proof. By the end of the trial, the evidence will speak for itself." Judge Thornwald nodded. "Thanks, Mr. Reeves. Mr. Musk, this is your opening statement." Musk moved to the front of the courtroom. He removed some wrinkled papers from his pocket and dropped one. As he bent down to pick it up, someone in the gallery laughed. Your Honor," he started, his voice quieter than expected. "I'm here because Magnatech is attempting to steal what my team created." He shuffled his papers and lost his place. Musk paused, perplexed, as the battery design in question employs a unique coating. "Sorry, I've got some diagrams somewhere." Judge Thornwald could not help herself. A small laugh escaped her lips. "Mr. Musk," she explained, "this is not a rocket launch. In my courtroom, we follow proper legal procedures. Do you have your evidence organized and ready for presentation?" "I believe so, Your Honor," he replied, still shuffling papers. The gallery erupted in laughter. Even the bailiff gave a smile. Judge Thornwald raised her hand for silence, but her eyes twinkled with amusement. She had seen this before. Wealthy individuals believe they can wing it in court without proper preparation. Dominic Reeves, sitting at the plaintiff's table, gave Musk a smug look. This was going to be easier than he expected. In the gallery, a young woman with short black hair watched with increasing concern. Musk's chief engineer, Layla Chen, twisted her hands nervously in her lap. It wasn't going as planned. "Perhaps," Judge Thornwald suggested, not unkindly. "Mr. Musk, you should have hired an attorney. Patent law is complicated. Most people cannot handle it unless they have received legal training." "I'll manage, Your Honor," Musk said, finally organizing his papers. "Very well," the judge sighed. "Magnatech, please state your case." Judge Thornwald leaned back in her chair as Reeves approached with his 3 assistants and wheeled in carefully organized evidence boxes. She caught her clerk's attention and gave a small eye roll. The clerk smiled back knowingly. Reeves prepared a sleek digital presentation. "Your Honor, if I may proceed," she said, nodding. The courtroom lights dimmed and a crystal-clear slide appeared on screen. Magnatech filed this patent on March 15, and Reeves began. As you can see, the design is revolutionary. Judge Thornwald listened intently, occasionally glancing at Musk. His face was expressionless as he took note. Mr. Musk's company began producing an identical design in April, Reeves explained. The timeline alone proves our point. Musk maintained an unusually calm demeanor throughout his presentation. Judge Thornwald once caught him staring at a seemingly random spot on the courtroom wall. Was he actually paying attention? Mr. Musk, she interrupted. Are you with us? Yes, Your Honor, he said, blinking as if returning from deep thought. Good, because I will not waste this court's time if you do not take these proceedings seriously. Musk's face flushed slightly, but he nodded. As the morning session progressed, Judge Thornwald grew increasingly irritated by Musk's casual attitude. When he finally objected to something, his reasoning was so poor that she had to cut him off. Mr. Musk, that is not how hearsay works, she explained with a thin veneer of impatience. Perhaps you could benefit from Legal Procedure 101? The courtroom tittered again. Little did Judge Thornwald know that the eccentric billionaire sitting in front of her wasn't as unprepared as he appeared. Behind his fumbling exterior and jumbled papers, Elon Musk was laying a trap that would soon leave everyone in the courtroom, including her, stunned. 6 months ago, the lab hummed with energy. Bright lights reflected off polished metal surfaces as Elon Musk and Layla Chin bent over a workbench. Between them sat a shoebox-sized device. It didn't look particularly special, just a metal case with some wires, but they both knew it had the potential to change the world. Run the test again, Musk said, his gaze never leaving the device. Layla tapped on the tablet. The device glowed blue along its edges. She reported, eyes wide, that the power output was at 98% efficiency. This is 3 times better than anything on the market. Musk did not smile. He rarely did while working, but a spark lit up his eyes. If this works at scale, he says we could power a house for a month or a car for 1,000 miles. We did it, Layla whispered. We actually accomplished it. That's when Musk's phone rang. He looked at the screen and frowned. Victor, Hammond is here, he announced. Layla's smile faded. Magnatech CEO, why? He would like to discuss a partnership. Musk sighed. Cover it up. I will meet him in the conference room. Are you certain that's wise? Layla asked. Magnatech has stolen designs before. Let me worry about it. Musk started for the door. Simply hide everything important. Victor Hammond was tall and polished, with perfect teeth and an overly firm handshake. Elon, thank you for seeing me, Hammond exclaimed. 2 assistants flanked him, holding tablets. What can I do for Victor? Musk inquired, not bothering with small talk. I will get right to it. Magnatech wants to work with you on energy storage. We have the manufacturing capabilities you lack, and you possess the creative spark our engineers occasionally lack. Musk nodded slowly. Interesting. What did you have in mind? We'll take a tour today and then talk about details. I'd like to see what you're working on. Hammond smiled like a hungry shark. Musk appeared to consider this. A quick tour, then. But some areas are off-limits. Ongoing research. Yes, of course. Hammond agreed quickly. As they walked through the facility, Musk noticed Hammond lingering in certain areas, his gaze drawn to every detail. Musk once claimed to have seen one of Hammond's assistants take a quick photo when no one was looking. When they reached the main lab doors, Musk came to a halt. This area is restricted. Hammond nodded in agreement, but Musk noticed a flash of disappointment in his eyes. Well, I've seen enough to believe we could accomplish great things together, Hammond said, extending his hand. I'll have my people contact your people. After Hammond left, Musk went straight to security. I want all footage of Hammond's visit, he told the head of security. Every second. That night, Musk watched the footage in his office. There it was. When Musk's back was turned, Hammond's assistant took photograph. Hammond peered through a window into the restricted lab, thinking no one was watching. I knew it, Musk muttered. 2 months later, Layla walked into Musk's office, her face flushed with rage. "Magnatech has just filed a patent," she said, slapping a printout on his desk for an energy storage device that incorporates our nano-coating technology. "They stole it, Elon. They stole our design." Musk picked up the papers and began scanning them, almost too calmly. Layla studied his face and said, "You don't seem surprised." "I am not." Musk leaned back in his chair. "Hammond never inquired about that partnership. I sensed something was amiss." "We must fight this," Layla exclaimed. "Call the lawyers." "I've already talked to them." Musk stood and approached the window. "They say it will be difficult to prove." Hammond was cautious. "So are we just giving up?" Layla couldn't believe what she heard. "I did not say that." Musk turned with a strange light in his eyes. "I am going to handle this myself." Layla's jaw dropped. "Do you mean personally? In court?" "Yes." "But Elon, you aren't a lawyer." "No," he agreed. "I am not." In the weeks that followed, Musk's behavior became increasingly bizarre. He cancelled meetings. He disappeared for several hours. Layla once found him in his office at midnight, surrounded by legal textbooks and scribbling notes in the margins. She picked up a patent law book and said, "This is crazy. We have a legal team to handle this." "They can expect a legal team," Musk said without looking up. "They will not expect me." "That's because this is a bad idea. Hammond employs the best lawyers. Money can buy." Musk eventually looked up, his eyes tired but determined. "Sometimes you have to do things on your own." "Is it about your ego?" Layla asked. "Proving you are smarter than everyone else?" "No." Musk shakes his head. "It is about justice." "And strategy?" Layla sighed, unconvinced. "What strategy entails going to court unprepared against experienced attorneys?" Musk smiled for the first time all night. "Whoever said anything about being unprepared?" He turned his notebook towards her. The pages were full of detailed notes, diagrams, and what appeared to be a timeline. "I know exactly what I'm doing," he stated quietly. "Trust me." But as Layla looked at her boss's determined expression, she couldn't help but worry that this time, his famous confidence would be his undoing. What she didn't realize was that Elon Musk had more than just notes and diagrams. He had a plan that would astound everyone, particularly one extremely skeptical judge. The first day of trial resumed in the courtroom following lunch. Judge Thornwald adjusted her black robes and checked her watch. Dominic Reeves had already prepared his next visual aid, a large screen that displayed side-by-side comparisons of both companies' battery designs. "The similarities, Your Honor," Reeves said, pointing with a laser pointer, "are undeniable. The internal structure, cooling system, and special coating are all identical." Judge Thornwald nodded from her elevated position on the bench. "Continue, Mr. Reeves." "Magnatech spent millions developing this technology," Reeves continued, moving on to the next slide. "Years of research resulted in this breakthrough. Then, just weeks after we filed our patent, Mr. Musk's company unexpectedly announced an identical product." In the gallery, reporters scribbled notes. This case drew international media attention. Tech journalists, business reporters, and curious onlookers filled the rows of seats. "We'd like to call our first witness," Reeves said. "Dr. Alan Murphy is Magnatech's head of research and development." A thin man wearing wire-rimmed glasses took the stand. After being sworn in, he settled nervously into the witness chair. "Dr. Murphy," Reeves asked, "please explain to the court your role in developing this battery technology." Murphy explained that he led the team that created the nanocoating. "It's the key innovation that enables higher energy density and faster charging times." "And when did you start this work?" Murphy answered confidently, "About 18 months ago." Judge Thornwald watched Reeves walk his witness through a detailed explanation of the technology. The attorney was skilled at breaking down complex ideas into manageable chunks. The judge was impressed with both the lawyer and the technology. She occasionally glanced at Musk. He remained unusually calm, taking notes but making few objections. She once caught him staring at a specific ceiling tile, apparently lost in thought. "Mr. Musk," she said sharply, "are you with us?" Musk blinked, then focused on her. "Yes, Your Honor. I'm just considering the testimony." Judge Thornwald frowned. "Please consider it more actively. This is your case, after all." A few people in the gallery chuckled. Judge Thornwald allowed herself a slight smile. She had previously dealt with arrogant tech CEOs, but they usually pretended to be serious about court proceedings. The testimony continued with Reeves calling a patent expert to explain the filing process and timeline. Once again, the evidence appeared to be stacked against Musk. The expert concluded that Magnatech's filing predates any public mention of similar technology from Musk's company. Judge Thornwald noticed Musk writing in his notebook. For a brief moment, she wondered what strategy, if any, he was devising. She then dismissed the thought. He was obviously out of his depth. "Your Honor," Reeves stated, "I'd like to present the next piece of evidence." An assistant rolled in a covered object. With a dramatic flourish, Reeves lifted the cloth to reveal a battery prototype. Reeves explained that this is the working prototype that Magnatech's team created before filing the patent. Layla Chun stiffened as she sat in the gallery. She leaned forward to examine the device, her eyes narrowing in recognition. Judge Thornwald noticed the young woman's reaction and took mental notes. Something about that prototype elicited a response. "Do you want to examine the device, Your Honor?" Reeves offered. "Thanks, Mr. Reeves." Judge Thornwald took the prototype and carefully turned it in her hands. Despite her legal background, she had studied engineering at college. Something about the design seemed elegant and efficient. She admitted that it was impressive before returning the device. Reeves smiled, feeling victorious. "Now we'd like to call our final witness of the day, Magnatech CEO Victor Hammond." The tall, polished man Musk had met months before walked confidently to the witness stand. After being sworn in, he sat with perfect posture and exuded confidence. "Mr. Hammond," Reeves began, "please inform the court of your company's commitment to innovation." Hammond delivered a well-rehearsed speech about Magnatech's history of breakthroughs. Judge Thornwald listened intently, occasionally looking at Musk to gauge his reaction. To her surprise, Musk was now fully engaged and intensely focused on Hammond. His gaze was almost predatory. For the first time, Judge Thornwald felt a glimmer of doubt. Was there more to Musk's strategy than she had suspected? "Did you communicate with Mr. Musk or his company prior to developing this technology?" Reeves asked Hammond. "Minimal," Hammond responded calmly. "We had a brief meeting about potential collaboration, but nothing came from it." Musk's face lit up with a ghostly smile, according to Judge Thornwald. When Hammond finished testifying, Reeves approached the bench. "Your Honor, Mr. Musk, has the opportunity to cross-examine our witness." Judge Thornwald addressed Musk. "Mr. Musk, do you want to question Mr. Hammond?" Musk stood slowly. "Not at this time, Your Honor. I will save my questions for later." Hammond looked surprised and then relieved. He stepped down from the witness stand, giving Musk a triumphant look as he returned to his seat. "Very well," Judge Thornwald said, unable to conceal her disappointment. She had expected at least an attempt at defense. "Mr. Reeves, please continue." "Your Honor," Reeves stated confidently, "we have presented clear evidence that Magnatech developed and patented this technology first. Mr. Musk's company has clearly copied our client's innovative design. The evidence speaks for itself." Judge Thornwald nodded, realizing she agreed with Reeves' assessment. The case appeared straightforward. "Mr. Musk," she said, turning to face the billionaire, "you'll have your chance to present your defense tomorrow. I recommend you prepare more thoroughly than you did today." Musk glanced up from his notebook. "I appreciate your concern, Your Honor." Something in his tone caused Judge Thornwald to pause. There was a confidence there that contradicted his apparent weakness. As she prepared to leave for the day, she noticed Musk staring at the same spot on the wall again. "Mr. Musk, are you really paying attention?" she asked sharply. Musk looked at her with clear eyes. "Always, Your Honor." More than you might imagine. For some reason, she was unable to explain. Judge Thornwald felt a shiver run down her spine. Perhaps there is more to Elon Musk than meets the eye. But what could he have planned to counter the overwhelming evidence against him? Judge Thornwald announced, banging her gavel, that the court would be adjourned until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. As people filed out of the courtroom, Musk collected his disorganized stack of papers. Dominic Reeves walked past, barely concealing his smug smile. Better? Good luck tomorrow, Musk, he said quietly. However, I doubt that luck will be enough. Musk simply nodded. See you tomorrow, Reeves. In the hallway outside, reporters swarmed around both men. Mr. Musk, are you going to hire an attorney now? Someone shouted. Mr. Reeves, is this case as clear-cut as it appears? I called another. Musk pushed through the crowd, not answering. Layla has been caught. Up to him on the courthouse step. That was brutal, she said. Hammond lied under oath about your meeting, I discovered. Musk responded calmly. And the prototype was our design. They simply changed the outer casing. I understand. Layla grabbed his arm, which stopped him. Elon, you have to do something. They are destroying us in there. Musk looked back at the courthouse, his expression unreadable. I am about to. 20 minutes later, they were sitting in a rented office across from the courthouse. Musk had converted it into a temporary workspace complete with computers, whiteboards, and file boxes. What are we doing here? Layla inquired as Musk booted up a laptop. He responded by saying he was preparing. I need you to access our building's security logs from the day Hammond arrived. Security logs? Why? Please trust me. Musk called Layla while she was at work. It's me, he told the person on the other end. Are you prepared for tomorrow? He listened for a moment. Good. Remember, timing is everything. Layla glanced up from her computer. I have the logs. What happens now? Find all footage of Hammond and his team. I want every second they spent in our building. They spent hours combing through security videos. Layla gasped when she saw what Musk was looking for. She pointed at the screen. Hammond's assistant is taking photos in a restricted area. Musk nodded. And here, he said, referring to another clip of Hammond looking through the lab window after I told him that area was off-limit. This proves they were spying, Layla exclaimed excitedly. Is it enough to win the case? Musk admitted that it does not work alone. We need more. He took out his phone and sent a text. Within minutes, it buzzed with an answer. Musk smiled while reading it. What? Layla asked. Let's just say I've been working on this case for longer than Hammond realizes. As midnight approached, Musk was still preparing. He had assembled what appeared to be a small electronic device on the desk. What is that? Layla inquired, yawning. Musk replied, a demonstration. For tomorrow. Shouldn't you focus on your legal arguments instead? Musk looked up with a glint in his eye. The best legal argument isn't always legal. Morning arrived too quickly. Back in the courtroom, Judge Thornwald called the session to order. Mr. Musk, are you prepared to present your defense? She inquired, anticipating the same fumbling performance as yesterday. Musk stood. Actually, Your Honor, I would like to request a one-day recess. Surprised murmurs echoed throughout the courtroom. Judge Thornwald frowned. Will there be a break? On what grounds? I need to reconsider my approach, Musk said, sounding defeated. Given the strong evidence against me. More whispers. Reeves couldn't conceal his triumphant smile. Judge Thornwald examined Musk's face. Did he finally admit defeat? Or was this part of a plan she couldn't see? Your Honor, Reeves interrupted, and we object to the delay. Mr. Musk had plenty of time to prepare his defense. I understand, Musk replied quickly. But after yesterday's testimony, I realized I might need professional help. Laughter spread throughout the gallery. Judge Thornwald allowed herself a slight smile. So he finally admitted that he needed a lawyer. While I'm tempted to deny your request, Mr. Musk, she said, I'll give you a one-day break, but don't waste our time tomorrow. Thank you, Your Honor, Musk replied, bowing slightly. As the courtroom emptied, Reeves approached Musk. Have you finally realized you're out of your depth? He asked. Musk responded with something along those lines. Layla paced anxiously in their temporary office. I do not understand. Why did you request a delay after we spent all night preparing? Musk explained that he was rapidly typing on his laptop. I want them to be overly confident. Hammond thinks I've given up. But what are we really doing today? Layla demanded. Two things, Musk said without looking up. First, we'll finish this. He pointed to the electronic device that they had been working on the previous night. Second, Musk finally looked up with a serious expression. We're meeting with someone important. Later that afternoon, a woman came into their office. She was in her early 40s, with dark hair pulled back into a tight bun. She seemed nervous. Musk greeted Ms. Nair. Thank you for coming. The woman said quietly, I'm risking my career by being here. I understand, Musk replied. But it's the right thing to do, Layla said, puzzled. Who is she? Priya Nair, Musk explained. Until last week, she was Magnatech's head of R&D. Layla's eyes widened. Wait, not Dr. Murphy? Murphy was promoted after my departure, Priya explained. I couldn't stay after what Hammond had asked us to do. Musk and Priya talked quietly for an hour while Layla finished their electronic demonstration. As evening fell, Musk appeared more confident than ever. Are you certain about this? Layla inquired as they packed up. It's unusual, even for you. Musk smiled, his eyes reflecting the glow from his computer screen. Sometimes innovation is more than just technology. Layla sighed. That wasn't an answer. Trust me, Musk said, closing his laptop. Judge Thornwald will stop laughing by this time tomorrow. That night, while Hammond and Reeves celebrated their seemingly unavoidable victory with expensive whiskey, Elon Musk made one final preparation for the next day's court hearing. A simple cardboard box that would change everything. The morning arrived with a buzz of excitement around the courthouse. The news of Musk's requested recess had spread, with many speculating that he was about to surrender. Reporters crowded the steps with cameras ready. Mr. Musk, have you retained an attorney? Will you settle with Magnatech? Are you giving up the case? Musk walked through them without responding. The cardboard box was tucked under his arm. Layla followed closely behind, her face a mask of calm concealing her anxiety. Inside, the courtroom was packed. Victor Hammond sat confidently at the plaintiff's table, whispering to Reeves. When Musk entered, they both looked up, curious about the box. What is he up to now? Hammond muttered. Reeves smirked as he replied, probably his surrender terms. Judge Thornwald entered, and everyone stood. As she took her seat, she noticed Musk appeared different today. Gone was the fumbling, distracted demeanor. Instead, he stood up straight, eyes clear and focused. She announced that court was now in session. Mr. Musk, yesterday you asked for time to reconsider your strategy. Have you decided to seek legal counsel? No, Your Honor, Musk responded, his voice stronger than before. I'll continue to represent myself. Judge Thornwald sighed heavily. Very good. Are you prepared to present your defense? I am, Your Honor. But first, I would like to call a surprise witness. A murmur spread throughout the courtroom. Reeves jumped to his feet. Objection. We received no notification of additional witnesses. Judge E. Thornwald frowned. Mr. Musk, this is not a television drama. That is not how actual court proceedings work. I understand, Your Honor. Musk responded calmly. However, these are special circumstances. My witness came forward only yesterday after seeing Magnatech's testimony. Judge Thornwald examined Musk's face. He seemed different today. She had never witnessed such quiet confidence before. She warned, this better be good. Who is the witness? Priya Nair is Magnatech's former head of research and development. The name caused a visible shock among the Magnatech team. Hammond's face turned pale. Reeves stood again, his composure slipping. Objection. Ms. Nair is bound by a confidentiality agreement with Magnatech. She is unable to testify about company matters. Musk responded that this isn't entirely accurate. Ms. Nair's agreement has exceptions for illegal activity, which is precisely what she wishes to address. The room fell silent. Judge Thornwald leaned forward. Her interest piqued despite herself. Mr. Reeves, your objection is noted but overruled. I'll allow the witness, she turned to Musk. This better be relevant, Mr. Musk. It is, Your Honor. Thank you. A court officer opened the door and Priya Nair entered. She looked nervous, but determined as she took the oath and settled into the witness stand. Ms. Nair, Musk began. Until recently, what was your position at Magnatech? I was head of research and development for 8 years, she replied, her voice steady despite her obvious tension. And why did you leave? Priya took a deep breath. I resigned last week due to ethical concerns about the battery technology. At issue in this case, another murmur swept through the courtroom. Hammond was now whispering urgently to Reeves. Could you elaborate on those concerns? Musk asked. The technology wasn't developed by Magnatech, Priya stated clearly. We were ordered to reverse engineer Mr. Musk's prototype after Mr. Hammond visited his facility. The courtroom erupted. Judge Thornwald banged her gavel repeatedly. Order! Order in the court! When quiet returned, Reeves was on his feet again, his face flushed with anger. Your Honor, these are baseless accusations. Where is the proof? An excellent question, Judge Thornwald agreed, turning to Musk. Do you have evidence to support this testimony? I do, Your Honor. Musk finally opened his mysterious cardboard box. From it, he removed a laptop and a small device. Ms. Nair, he continued, did Mr. Hammond specifically instruct your team to copy my design? Yes, she answered firmly. After his visit to your facility, he called an emergency meeting. He showed us photos his assistant had taken and told us to recreate the technology as quickly as possible. Hammond's face had gone from pale to red. He scribbled something and pushed it toward Reeve. And what about Dr. Murphy, who testified yesterday? Musk asked. Alan was promoted to my position after I questioned the ethics of what we were doing, Priya explained. He was willing to go along with Hammond's plan. Reeves stood again. Your Honor, this is hearsay and speculation. Is it? Musk asked calmly. He connected his laptop to the courtroom's display system. With the court's permission, I'd like to show some evidence. Judge Thornwald nodded, now fully engaged. Proceed, Mr. Musk. The screen lit up with security footage from Musk's facility. It clearly showed Hammond's assistant taking photos in restricted areas and Hammond himself peering through windows he'd been told were off-limit. This proves nothing, Reeves argued. Looking isn't stealing. Perhaps not, Musk agreed. But this might be more convincing. He clicked to the next file, emails between Hammond and Priya discussing how to repurpose Musk's design. Reeves stared at the screen in shock. Where did you get those? Ms. Nair provided them, Musk explained. Along with these, the next images showed side-by-side comparisons of internal component. Musk's original designs and Magnatech's copies. They were identical. Judge Thornwald's expression had transformed completely. The skepticism was gone, replaced by growing shock as the evidence mounted. Your Honor, Musk said, there's more. Ms. Nair has provided internal memos showing that Magnatech had no similar technology in development before Hammond's visit to my facility. Their entire claim is fraudulent. Hammond could no longer contain himself. This is a setup, he shouted, rising from his chair. You can't believe this. Mr. Hammond, Judge Thornwald warned, control yourself or I'll have you removed. The atmosphere in the courtroom had shifted dramatically. Now it was Reeves who looked flustered and unprepared while Musk appeared calm and in control. Judge Thornwald turned to Priya. Ms. Nair, you understand the seriousness of your testimony? You're accusing Magnatech of corporate espionage and fraud. I do, Your Honor, Priya replied. That's why I resigned. I couldn't be part of it anymore. As the morning session continued, Judge Thornwald found herself watching Musk with new eyes. The bumbling, distracted man from yesterday was gone. In his place stood someone precise and methodical who had apparently planned this moment from the beginning. Had it all been an act? Had he deliberately appeared unprepared to lull Magnatech into overconfidence? Whatever the truth, one thing was certain. Judge Beatrice Thornwald was no longer laughing at Elon Musk. Ms. Nair, Musk continued, could you tell the court exactly what happened after Mr. Hammond returned from his visit to my facility? Priya Nair sat straight in the witness chair, her hands folded in her lap. She'd been Magnatech's star scientist for almost a decade. Now she was their worst nightmare. Mr. Hammond called an emergency meeting that same afternoon, she began. He was extremely excited. He showed us photos his assistant had taken secretly during the tour and said he'd seen a gold mine of ideas. In the plaintiff's section, Hammond's face darkened. He scribbled a note and slid it to Reeves, who shook his head slightly. Did he specifically mention my energy storage technology? Musk asked. Yes, he was particularly interested in the nanocoating. He said it was the key to making batteries hold more power for longer period. And what did he ask your team to do? He told us to drop everything else and focus on recreating what he'd seen. His exact words were, I want this technology before Musk can patent it. A murmur swept through the courtroom. Judge Thornwald leaned forward, completely absorbed in the testimony. This was not at all what she had expected when the day began. Did you raise any concerns about this directive? Musk continued. Priya nodded. I told Mr. Hammond that what he was suggesting sounded like corporate espionage. I suggested we pursue a legitimate partnership instead. And how did he respond? He said, and I quote, why pay for what we can take for free? Another ripple of reaction spread through the gallery. Hammond was now red-faced with anger. That's a lie, he shouted, unable to contain himself. She's making this up. Mr. Hammond, Judge Thornwald warned sharply. One more outburst and I'll have you removed from my courtroom. Musk remained calm, seemingly unaffected by the drama. Ms. Nair, do you have any evidence to support your testimony? Yes, she replied. I kept notes from all our meetings. I also saved emails and text messages where these directives were given. Your Honor, Musk addressed the judge. I'd like to enter these documents into evidence. He handed a folder to the court clerk, who passed it to Judge Thornwald. She opened it and began reviewing the contents, her expression growing more serious with each page. Reeves finally recovered enough to stand. Your Honor, these documents should be inadmissible. They contain proprietary Magnatech information that Ms. Nair had no right to remove from the company. Actually, Musk countered, according to Magnatech's own employment contract, which I've included in that folder, employees are both protected and obligated to report potential illegal activities. Ms. Nair was acting within her rights. Judge Thornwald nodded. I'm inclined to agree with Mr. Musk on this point. The documents are admitted. Reeves sat down heavily, looking stunned. Hammond was now whispering urgently to one of his assistants, who quickly left the courtroom. Nair, Musk continued. What happened after you expressed these concerns? I was gradually sidelined. Tasks were reassigned. Then, 2 weeks ago, Alan Murphy was promoted to position, and I was transferred to a different department. Did that surprise you? No. I'd already started looking for another job because I couldn't ethically continue at Magnatech. When they transferred me, I resigned immediately. One final question, Musk said. Did Magnatech have any similar energy storage technology in development before Hammond's visit to my facility? No, Priya stated firmly. We were working on completely different approaches. Our research was at least 2 years away from anything close to your design. Thank you, Ms. Nair. Musk turned to the judge. Your Honor, I'd like to present one more piece of evidence before Mr. Reeves cross-examines the witness. Judge Thornwald nodded. Proceed. Musk placed his small electronic device on the evidence table. This is a demonstration unit I created to illustrate how Magnatech's supposedly original design is actually a copy of mine. He activated the device, which projected a holographic display showing both designs layer by layer. As each component appeared, the identical nature of the technologies became impossible to deny. As you can see, Musk explained, even the internal arrangement of components is identical. The chances of two teams independently creating such similar designs are essentially zero. The courtroom had fallen completely silent. The evidence was overwhelming. Your Honor, Reeves said, finally rising again, we request a brief recess to consult with our client. Judge Thornwald checked her watch. We'll break for lunch. Court will reconvene at 1 o'clock. As the gallery emptied, Layla rushed to Musk's side. That was amazing, she whispered. Did you see Hammond's face? Musk nodded slightly, keeping his expression neutral. We're not done yet. In the hallway, reporters swarmed around both parties. Reeves pushed through without comment. Hammond close. Behind him, with a security guard blocking cameras. Mr. Musk, a reporter called out. Was your confused performance yesterday an act? Musk merely smiled. No comment. In a private conference room, Reeves faced Hammond across the table. This is bad, Victor. Really bad. She's lying, Hammond insisted, pacing the room. It's her word against mine. It's her word plus emails, texts and documents against yours, Reeves corrected him. Not to mention the visual evidence of the copied technology. We need to settle this now. No, I won't give him the satisfaction. You might not have a choice, Reeves warned. If this continues, we're looking at more than losing a patent case. This could become a criminal matter. Hammond stopped pacing. What are you saying? I'm saying corporate espionage is a crime. So is perjury, which you committed yesterday when you downplayed your meeting with Musk. Hammond's face paled. You're my lawyer. Fix this. I'm trying to, Reeves replied grimly. But you need to accept reality. Musk outplayed us. Meanwhile, in another conference room, Judge Thornwald sat alone, reviewing the morning's evidence. 30 years on the bench had taught her to spot liars, and Priya Nair was telling the truth. The emails and documents corroborated her testimony perfectly. The judge found herself reassessing Elon Musk. She dismissed him as an arrogant amateur, but now she wondered if she'd been the amateur all along. His strategy, appearing unprepared while gathering devastating evidence, was brilliant. When court reconvened, the tension was palpable. Reeves approached Musk before the judge arrived. My client is willing to discuss settlement terms, he said quietly. I'm not interested in settling, Musk replied. Don't be stubborn. We can make this go away quietly. That's not why I'm here. Before Reeves could respond, Judge Thornwald entered, and everyone stood. Before we continue, she announced, I want to clarify something. Ms. Nair, your testimony suggests not just patent infringement, but potentially criminal activity. Do you understand the seriousness of these allegations? I do, Your Honor, Priya replied. That's why I resigned my position and came forward. It was the right thing to do. Judge Thornwald nodded. Mr. Reeves, you may cross-examine the witness. Reeves approached the stand, his earlier confidence gone. Ms. Nair, isn't it true that you were passed over for promotions several times at Magnatech? No, she replied calmly. I was offered promotions twice and declined them to stay in research. And you're not bitter about Mr. Murphy's promotion. I was relieved. It meant I was no longer responsible for a project I believed was unethical. Reeves tried several more angles, but Priya remained unshaken. Her testimony was clear, consistent, and damning. When Reeves finally sat down, Judge Thornwald turned to Musk. Do you have any more witnesses, Mr. Musk? No, Your Honor. Ms. Nair's testimony and the evidence I've presented speak for themselves. Judge Thornwald nodded thoughtfully. They certainly do. As the afternoon session continued, one thing became abundantly clear to everyone in the courtroom. Elon Musk hadn't just prepared for this case. He had orchestrated every moment of it, and he was far from finished. Your Honor, Musk said, rising from his seat, I'd now like to address the legal remedy I'm seeking. Judge Thornwald nodded. Proceed, Mr. Musk. Musk walked to the center of the courtroom, no longer the fumbling figure from the first day. He moved with purpose, his voice clear and confident. Based on the evidence presented, I'm not just asking for Magnatech's patent to be invalidated. I'm requesting a specific legal remedy outlined in the Technological Innovation Protection Act of 2018. A puzzled look crossed Reeves' face. Judge Opwichus Thornwald also appeared curious. Section 47B of that act, Musk continued, states that in cases where corporate espionage is proven, the court may issue an order preventing the offending party from developing similar technology for up to 5 years. The courtroom fell silent. Even Judge Thornwald appeared taken aback. Mr. Musk, she said, leaning forward, I'm familiar with technology patent law, but I don't recall that specific provision. It's relatively obscure, Your Honor, Musk acknowledged. It was added as an amendment during the bill's final passage. Few cases have invoked it. He handed a document to the court clerk who passed it to the judge. She studied it carefully, her eyebrows rising slightly. He's right, she murmured, almost to herself. Reeves jumped to his feet. Your Honor, this is preposterous. Such a remedy would effectively lock Magnatech out of an entire market segment. That's precisely the point, Musk responded calmly. The law was designed to create serious consequences for corporate espionage. Otherwise, companies would simply treat legal penalties as a cost of doing business. Judge Thornwald was now nodding slightly as she read through the statute. The language is quite clear, she admitted. In cases of proven corporate espionage related to technological innovation, the court may issue a development prohibition order. Hammond whispered urgently to Reeves, who looked increasingly distressed. Your Honor, Reeves said, we need time to review this statute and prepare a response. That seems reasonable, Judge Thornwald agreed. We'll adjourn for today and reconvene tomorrow morning. She turned to Musk. I must say, Mr. Musk, I'm impressed by your knowledge of patent law. Thank you, Your Honor, Musk replied with a small smile. I've been studying. As the courtroom began to empty, Reeves approached Musk again, his manner now almost pleading. Be reasonable, Musk. A 5-year ban would devastate Magnatech's energy division. You should have thought of that before stealing my technology, Musk replied simply. In the gallery, Layla watched the exchange with wide eyes. When Musk joined her, she couldn't contain her amazement. How did you find that law? She whispered as they left the courtroom. I've never heard of it. Because most lawyers haven't either, Musk explained. I spent weeks researching obscure patent statute. When I found this one, I knew it was perfect. Outside the courthouse, reporters once again swarmed around them. Mr. Musk, is it true you're asking for Magnatech to be banned from the energy storage market? Was your confused act just a strategy to catch them off guard? No comment, Musk repeated, pushing through the crowd. Back at their temporary office, Layla's excitement bubbled over. You were amazing in there. Hammond looked like he was going to pass out when you mentioned that law. Musk allowed himself a small smile. The case isn't over yet, but it's going our way now, Layla insisted. Judge Thornwald is totally on your side. She's doing her job, Musk corrected. Judges don't take sides. They follow the law, which you happen to know better than Magnatech's expensive lawyers, Layla laughed. Musk's phone buzzed with a text message. He read it, and his expression turned serious. What is it? Layla asked. Hammond's people have been calling Pryor, Musk said, threatening her. That's witness intimidation. We should tell the judge. We will, Musk assured her tomorrow. Meanwhile, at Magnatech's legal offices, Hammond was raging at his legal team. How could you not know about this law? He demanded, pacing the conference room. I pay you millions for exactly this kind of information. Reeves remained calm despite the attack. It's an obscure provision that's rarely invoked. The question now is how to respond. We fight it, obviously, Hammond snapped. I'm not sure that's wise, Reeves cautioned. The evidence against us is substantial. So you're giving up? I'm being realistic. Musk has outmaneuvered us at every turn. First, he acted incompetent to lower our guard. Then he produced a star witness we never anticipated. Now he's found a legal angle that could cripple our business. Hammond collapsed into a chair. The reality of their situation finally sinking in. What are our options? We could settle, Reeves suggested. Offer Musk a substantial payment and a formal apology. Never, Hammond spat. I won't give him the satisfaction. Then our only option is to attack the witness, Reeves said grimly. Discredit prowess. Suggest she stole the documents for personal gain. Imply she's working with Musk. Will that work? Reeves sighed. Probably not. But it's all we have left. The next morning, the courtroom was even more crowded than before. News of the unusual legal maneuver had spread overnight, and technology reporters from around the world packed the gallery. Judge Thornwald called the court to order. Before we continue, I've reviewed the statute Mr. Musk cited yesterday. It is indeed applicable to this case, provided the evidence of corporate espionage meets the legal standard. She turned to Reeves. Counsel, do you wish to respond to Mr. Musk's request for a development prohibition order? Reeves stood. Yes, Your Honor. We challenge the credibility of Ms. Nair's testimony and the authenticity of the documents she provided. On what grounds? We believe Ms. Nair may have altered these documents after leaving Magnatech, possibly in collaboration with Mr. Musk. Judge Thornwald frowned. That's a serious allegation. Do you have evidence to support it? We're prepared to present technical analysis suggesting the documents were modified recently, Reeves claimed. Musk rose calmly. Your Honor, I anticipated this attack on Ms. Nair's character. That's why I took the precaution of having the original electronic documents verified by an independent forensic expert. He handed another file to the court clerk. This report confirms the documents are genuine and unaltered. Additionally, I must inform the court that Ms. Nair has received threatening phone calls from Magnatech representatives since her testimony yesterday. Judge Thornwald's expression darkened. Is that so? Mr. Reeves, does your client know that witness intimidation is a serious offense? Reeves paled. Your Honor, if such calls were made, they were not authorized by Magnatech's management or legal team. Judge Thornwald was clearly not convinced. As the morning proceeded, she watched Musk with growing admiration. The man who had stumbled through opening statements 2 days ago was now articulating complex legal arguments with remarkable precision. She found herself nodding along with his reasoning, impressed despite herself. And she wasn't the only one. Even some of Magnatech's junior attorneys were watching him with undisguised respect. In the gallery, Victor Hammond loosened his collar nervously. The confident CEO who had expected an easy victory was now facing a legal disaster of his own making. Your Honor, Reeves said, making one last attempt to salvage their case. We request permission to present a technical expert who will testify that Magnatech's design, while similar to Mr. Musk's, contains significant differences. Judge Thornwald considered this. I'll allow it. Call your witness. A tall man with a neat beard and glasses approached the stand. After being sworn in, he introduced himself as Dr. Marcus Whitfield, Chief Technical Officer at Cambridge Energy Systems. Dr. Whitfield, Reeves began, you've examined both companies' battery designs. In your expert opinion, could Magnatech have developed their technology independently? Yes, Dr. Whitfield replied confidently. While there are similarities in the overall approach, I noted several distinct engineering choices in Magnatech's implementation. Could you elaborate? Reeves asked, looking relieved. Certainly. The cooling system configuration, for instance, uses a different arrangement of channels, and the casing material contains proprietary compounds not present in Mr. Musk's design. Judge Thornwald listened carefully. Her earlier bias now replaced with careful neutrality. She took detailed notes as Dr. Whitfield presented diagrams highlighting the differences. So, in your professional opinion, Reeves concluded, these designs could have been developed independently? It's certainly possible, Dr. Whitfield agreed. Similar problems often lead to similar solutions in engineering. Thank you, Doctor. Reeves turned to Musk. Your witness. The courtroom tensed as Musk approached the stand. Instead of attacking Dr. Whitfield directly, Musk smiled politely. Dr. Whitfield, what's the primary innovation that makes both these battery designs so efficient? The nanocoating on the electrode surfaces, the expert replied without hesitation. And this coating is applied in several distinct layers, correct? Yes, that's right, Musk nodded. Could you describe the specific sequence of these layers? To Whitfield looked slightly uncomfortable. Well, both designs use a graphene base layer followed by a titanium composite, then a proprietary ceramic material. Identical proprietary materials? Musk asked innocently. Well, yes. Surprisingly similar. And what are the odds of two companies independently developing identical proprietary materials in identical layering sequences? Dr. Whitfield shifted in his seat. It would be highly unlikely. Musk continued this approach, asking seemingly innocent technical questions that gradually led Dr. Whitfield into contradicting his own testimony. With each answer, the expert looked increasingly trapped. Let me be direct, Doctor, Musk finally said. The cooling system and casing differences you mentioned, aren't those merely cosmetic changes that don't affect the core technology? After a long pause, Dr. Whitfield sighed. Yes, the fundamental innovation, the nanocoating, is essentially identical in both designs. From the plaintiff's table, Hammond stared daggers at their expert witness. No further questions, Musk said, returning to his seat. After Dr. Whitfield stepped down, Reeves approached the bench. Your Honor, we would like to call Mr. Hammond to testify directly. Judge Thornwald nodded. Proceed. Hammond took the stand, straightening his expensive tie. After being sworn in, he projected confidence despite his earlier nervousness. Mr. Thornwald, Hammond, Reeves began. Did you instruct your team to copy Mr. Musk's technology? Absolutely not, Hammond stated firmly. I visited his facility as a potential partner. When that didn't work out, I directed our existing research team to continue their work on energy storage solutions. And was Magnatech already developing similar technology? Yes, we had been researching advanced battery designs for years. The timing of our breakthrough shortly after my visit to Musk Innovations was coincidental. Reeves nodded. Ms. Nair claims you showed photos from your visit and specifically ordered the team to copy Mr. Musk's design. How do you respond? That's completely false, Hammond declared. Ms. Nair was a disgruntled employee who became increasingly difficult after being passed over for promotion. These accusations are her way of retaliating. Judge Thornwald watched Hammond carefully, noting his confident delivery. He was a polished witness, well prepared by his legal team. No further questions, Reeves said, sitting down. The courtroom fell silent as Musk stood for cross-examination. He approached Hammond slowly, calmly. Mr. Hammond, you testified that Magnatech was already developing similar technology before your visit to my facility. Is that correct? Yes, Hammond replied firmly. Could you explain the basic principles of your pre-existing research? Hammond hesitated slightly. We were exploring various nanocoatings for battery electrode. Could you be more specific about the composition of these coatings? I'm not a technical person, Hammond evaded. I rely on my research team for those details. Yet you're the CEO who signed off on the patent application, Musk noted. Surely you understood what you were patenting? Hammond's confidence began to crack. In general terms, yes. Musk changed direction suddenly. During your visit to my facility, did you take any photos? No. Did anyone in your team take photos? Not to my knowledge. Musk nodded thoughtfully. I see. He walked to his table and picked up a folder. Your Honor, I'd like to enter this security footage as evidence. He played a clip clearly showing Hammond's assistant photographing restricted areas. Perhaps your memory needs refreshing, Musk suggested mildly. Hammond's face flushed. I wasn't aware my assistant was taking photos. Really? Because in this next clip, you can be seen looking directly at her while she does it. The courtroom murmured as the damning footage played. Musk continued methodically, asking questions that gradually boxed Hammond into a corner. With each answer, the CEO contradicted either his previous testimony or the documented evidence. Finally, Musk delivered his master stroke. Mr. Hammond, are you familiar with this notebook? He held up a small leather-bound journal. Hammond's eyes widened in recognition. Where did you get that? Ms. Nair provided it. It's your personal notebook, isn't it? Yes, but it was stolen from my office. Actually, Musk corrected, Ms. Nair was asked to clean out your office after a water leak. This was among the items she was instructed to salvage. Musk opened the notebook to a marked page. Would you please read this entry dated the day after your visit to my facility? Hammond remained silent. If you prefer, I can read it, Musk offered. He turned to the judge. Your Honor, may I? Judge Thornwald nodded, completely engrossed. Saw Musk's new battery tech today, Musk read aloud. Revolutionary nanocoding. Need to fast-track our version before he patents it. Assign Priya's team to reverse engineer ES8. The courtroom erupted in excited whispers. Hammond's face had gone pale. No further questions, Musk said quietly. The courtroom remained silent as Hammond returned to his seat, his shoulders slumped in defeat. Judge Thornwald checked her watch. We'll take a 15-minute recess, she announced. When we return, I'd like to see both parties in my chambers. As people filed out, reporters rushed to file updates. The story had exploded overnight, with technology news sites running live blogs of the proceedings. Musk's legal genius stuns court. Read one headline already circulating on phones around the room. In the hallway, Reeves cornered Hammond. This is a disaster, he hissed. We need to settle immediately. It's too late for that, Hammond muttered, loosening his tie further. He's going for blood. Inside her chambers, Judge Thornwald sat behind her desk, removing her glasses and rubbing the bridge of her nose. 30 years on the bench, and she'd rarely seen such a complete reversal in a case. When both parties entered, she gestured to the chairs in front of her desk. Please sit. Musk and Reeves sat down. Hammond remained standing, too agitated to settle. I've called you here because this case has taken an extraordinary turn, Judge Thornwald began. Mr. Reeves, given the evidence presented, I strongly suggest your client consider settlement options. Reeves nodded grimly. We're prepared to discuss terms, Your Honor. I'm not, Hammond cut in. This isn't over yet. Judge Thornwald fixed him with a stern gaze. Mr. Hammond, you should understand your position. The evidence against you is overwhelming. If I rule against Magnatech, which seems increasingly likely, you face not only the loss of the patent, but a 5-year ban from the market. Additionally, this could trigger criminal investigations. Hammond paled, but remained defiant. There are appeals courts. Yes, the judge agreed, and they generally defer to the trial court's findings of fact. The facts here are quite damning, she turned to Musk. Mr. Musk, would you be open to settlement discussions? Musk considered this for a moment. I came here for justice, not money. The 5-year development ban is non-negotiable, Hammond huffed in frustration. That's unreasonable. What's unreasonable, Musk replied calmly, is stealing someone else's work, and then suing them for it. Judge Thornwald leaned back in her chair, studying Musk with newfound respect. Then she did something unexpected. Mr. Musk, she said, her tone softening slightly. I owe you an apology. Everyone in the room looked surprised, Musk included. I made assumptions about you when this trial began, she continued. I thought you were arrogant and unprepared. I was wrong, and my behavior was unprofessional. You've presented your case more thoroughly than most lawyers I've seen. Musk nodded in acceptance of her apology. Thank you, Your Honor. The judge hesitated, then added, I feel I should explain something. She glanced at Hammond and Reeves. Would you gentlemen excuse us for a moment? After they left, Judge Thornwald rose and walked to her window, looking out at the city skyline. 4 years ago, my son worked for Solar Tech Industries, she said quietly. When your company acquired them, he lost his job in the restructuring. He struggled for months afterward. Musk's eyes widened in recognition. I remember that acquisition. We had to eliminate redundant positions. I know, she acknowledged. It was a business decision, nothing personal. But as a mother, she shook her head. I allowed it to color my initial impression of you. That was wrong of me. I understand, Musk said. Business decisions affect real people. I try to remember that. Judge Thornwald turned back to him. Your legal strategy was brilliant. The way you appeared unprepared to lower their guard. I've never seen anything like it. Sometimes innovative thinking applies outside of technology, Musk replied with a small smile. A knock at the door interrupted them. The clerk poked her head in. Judge, Mr. Hammond is asking to speak with Mr. Musk privately. Judge Thornwald raised an eyebrow. That's unusual. I'll hear what he has to say, Musk agreed. When Hammond entered alone, his demeanor had changed completely. Gone was the arrogant CEO. Now he looked like a desperate man. Musk, he said without preamble, name your price, whatever you want. Just drop the 5-year ban. It's not about money, Musk replied. Everyone has a price, Hammond insisted. 10 million? 20? The ban stands, Musk said firmly. Your company tried to steal years of my team's work. There are consequences for that. Hammond's face darkened. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Watching me squirm. No, Musk replied honestly. I'd have preferred a fair competition where we both innovated on our own merit. Judge Thornwald watched this exchange with interest. These were two powerful men, but only one had maintained his integrity. Gentlemen, she finally said, I think we've said all that needs saying here. Let's return to the courtroom and conclude this matter properly. As they filed out, Hammond made one last desperate plea. Musk, be reasonable. But Musk had already moved on. His mind clearly focused on the future beyond this case. He had what he wanted, justice and protection for his company's innovations. Back in the courtroom, the gallery fell silent as they returned. Layla caught Musk's eye from her seat, raising her eyebrows in question. He gave her a small nod and she smiled in relief. Based on the evidence presented, Judge Thornwald announced, I'm prepared to rule on this matter after final statements. Mr. Reeves, Mr. Musk, please prepare to deliver your closing argument. As Reeves shuffled his papers nervously, Musk sat calmly, his notes organized neatly before him. The outcome was no longer in doubt. He had won. Mr. Reeves, your closing statement, Judge Thornwald directed. Reeves stood, his earlier confidence gone. I'll be. Your Honor, while the evidence presented by Mr. Musk is concerning, we maintain that Magnatech developed its technology through legitimate means. Ms. Nair's testimony should be viewed with skepticism, given her departure from the company under difficult circumstances. He continued for several more minutes, his arguments weak and unconvincing even to his own ears. Hammond sat with his head down, no longer the confident CEO who had walked into court days before. Thank you, Mr. Reeves, Judge Thornwald said as he finished. Mr. Musk? Musk approached the benches. Unlike his fumbling first appearance, he now stood tall with a clear and measured voice. Your Honor, the evidence speaks for itself. Magnatech's CEO came to my facility, secretly photographed proprietary technology, and directed his team to replicate it. Their own documents and witnesses support this. To ensure that corporate espionage has meaningful consequences, justice requires not only invalidating their fraudulent patent but also implementing the 5-year development ban. Short, simple, and devastating. Musk returned to his seat as murmurs rang throughout the courtroom. Judge Thornwald nodded. I'll give my decision now. The courtroom went silent. Everyone understood that this case had far-reaching implications for more than just these two companies. It would set the standard for how corporate espionage cases were handled across the technology industry. Judge Thornwald began by saying that the court had carefully considered all of the evidence presented. Prionaire's testimony, supported by electronic communications and Mr. Hammond's own notes, provides compelling evidence of corporate espionage. Hammond closed his eyes, defeated. Magnatech's patent number 1087261 is thus invalidated. She paused and then continued. Furthermore, under Section 47B of the Technological Innovation Protection Act, Magnatech Industries is prohibited from developing or marketing similar energy storage technology for a period of 5 years beginning today. Gasps echoed throughout the courtroom. She was not simply ruling in Musk's favor. She was granting him his entire requested remedy. Magnatech will also pay Mr. Musk's company $20 million in damages for attempted patent infringement, as well as all legal fees associated with this case. She looked straight at Hammond. This court also refers the case to the United States Attorney's Office for review of potential criminal charges related to industrial espionage and perjury. Hammond's face became pale. Reeves applied a steadying hand to his client's arm. Before we conclude, Judge Thornwald added, I'd like to address something. She removed her glasses and looked directly at the reporters in the gallery. When the trial began, I assumed Mr. Musk was representing himself. I questioned his abilities and, regrettably, made inappropriate comments. The unusual admission elicited murmurs throughout the courtroom. The court has been corrected, she stated formally. Mr. Musk has demonstrated that innovative thinking applies to both legal strategy and technology. His preparation and presentation of this case were excellent. Musk nodded, acknowledging her words. The court is adjourned. Judge Thornwald banged her gavel for the last time. The courtroom erupted with excited conversation. Reporters rushed to the doors, eager to file their stories. Hammond and Reeves huddled with their teammates, their expressions grim. Layla rushed to Musk's side. We did it, she exclaimed, her eyes bright. You were amazing. We were amazing, Musk corrected her. Your technical expertise was critical. As they gathered their materials, Judge Thornwald approached. Mr. Musk, a word? Layla excused herself and left them alone. The judge described it as a remarkable case. I have never seen anything quite like it. Thank you, Your Honor. Can I ask a question? Was everything staged on the first day? Musk smiled slightly. Not entirely. I was nervous, but appearing unprepared was strategic. Judge Thornwald shook her head, amazed. Brilliantly executed. She hesitated before adding, My son has found a new job, by the way. He's doing fine now. I'm glad to hear it, Musk said sincerely. Well, she said, holding out her hand. Congratulations on the victory. As they shook hands, something changed between them, a mutual respect that had not existed days before. Outside the courthouse, reporters surrounded Musk. Mr. Musk, how does it feel to have won? Was your strategy planned from the start? Will you file criminal charges against Hammond? Musk raised his hands for silence. I came here looking for justice, not revenge. The ruling speaks for itself. Now, please excuse me, I have work to do. He made his way through the crowd to where Layla was waiting with their car. Layla was unable to contain her curiosity as they drove away from the courthouse. So, what happens now? She asked. Musk looked out the window, already planning ahead. Now we can get back to what matters. Building things that will change the world. Even as he said it, he knew this case had a significant impact on not only his company, but the entire tech industry. The next time a company considers stealing someone else's innovation, they should remember what happened to Magnatech. And maybe they'd think twice. 2 months later, a sleek black car approached the security gate at Musk Innovations headquarters. Judge Beatrice Thornwald showed her identification to the guard, who checked his list and waved her through. She retired from the bench 1 month after the Magnatech case, which surprised many in the legal community. She told reporters that 30 years was enough. It's time for new challenges. Layla Chen smiled as she greeted her in the lobby. Judge Thornwald, it's great to see you again. Please call me Beatrice. The former judge replied with a smile. I'm no longer on the bench. Elon is waiting for you in the lab, Layla said as she led the way. He's excited for the tour. They walked through bright corridors where engineers and scientists were working on future-shaping projects. Beatrice noticed an energy in the air, a sense of purpose and innovation that brought back memories of her own youth. Musk met them at the main laboratory's entrance, dressed in his usual simple attire. Judge Thornwald, we welcome you to our facility. Thank you for inviting me, she responded. And please, this is Beatrice now. Musk nodded. Beatrice, are you ready to see what we're working on? He spent the next hour guiding her through the lab. He described their most recent advances in energy storage, which are now free of Magnetek's interference, as well as several other projects that astounded her. This is incredible, she exclaimed as they paused by a window overlooking the testing grounds. So different from the world of law. Is that why you retired? Musk inquired, seeking something different? She admitted that this was only partially true. 30 years of dealing with other people's problems has taken its toll. I was prepared for a change. They went to a quieter area of the building and entered a small conference room with a view of the mountains. Coffee was waiting for them on the table. Musk said, I have a confession to make, as they sat down. There is a reason I've invited you here today. I suspected as much, Beatrice said, sipping her coffee. What is it? Musk looked at her for a moment. Did you ever wonder why I chose to represent myself at trial? It was more than just strategy. I wanted to address you directly. Beatrice frowned. Face me? Why? Because I knew who you were, Musk stated simply. Not just a judge but also an engineer. She stared at him, having forgotten her coffee. What do you mean? Prior to your legal career, you were Beatrice Thornwald of MIT, who developed a revolutionary battery design in the 1980s. Beatrice put down her cup, her hand trembling slightly. How did you know that? It was a long time ago. Musk explained that he makes it his business to be knowledgeable about the history of his field. Your design was ahead of its time. I believe a company called Vertex Tech stole it from you. Yes, she replied quietly. They did. I was young and naive. I showed them my prototype, hoping they'd help develop it. Instead, they claimed ownership. That is why you went to law school, Musk explained, to ensure that it does not happen to others. Beatrice nodded in surprise at how well he understood her story. I could not afford to fight them in court. There were no laws protecting individual inventors back then, such as Section 47B. Did you know you were assigned to my case based on your technical background? Musk asked. Of course. The court frequently assigns judges with relevant expertise to cases. What you didn't realize, Musk continued, was that I discovered this connection early on. When I found out you'd be presiding, I did extensive research on your background. Beatrice's eyes widened with understanding. You designed the entire legal strategy. Tattoos appeal to both your technical knowledge and your personal history, Musk said. I knew you'd recognize Hammond's actions because they happened to you. So she began all of her fumbling on the first day with the intention of making everyone underestimate her. Musk smiled as he confirmed, including you. To his surprise, Beatrice laughed. I should be offended because you manipulated the court in this manner. Musk replied, I prefer to think of it as understanding my audience. The evidence was real. The law was real. I just presented it in a way I knew would appeal to you. Brilliant, she admitted. Absolutely brilliant. They sat silently for a moment, two minds that had discovered unexpected common ground. So Beatrice finally asked, Why am I here today? Surely not just for a tour and revelation? Musk agreed. I have a proposition for you. He opened a folder on the table and slid it to her. Inside was a contract. I need someone who understands both technology and law to lead our legal department, he explained. Someone who can protect our innovations while guiding us through complex regulatory issues. Beatrice raised her eyebrow. Do you want to hire me? Musk corrected. I want to partner with you. Your experience as both an engineer who was wronged and a judge who protected innovation qualifies you uniquely. I haven't practiced law in 30 years, she said. You do not need to. You will be supported by a team of attorneys. What I need is your opinion and understanding of both worlds. Beatrice thumbed through the contract while considering the offer. That would be quite a change. Musk responded, change drives innovation. And I doubt you retired just to play golf, she laughed again. You got me there. Standing up, Beatrice walked to the window and looked out at the mountains. For decades, she enforced the law from the bench. Now she had the opportunity to protect innovation from within, to create rather than simply judge. She turned back to Musk. Before I make a decision, I have one question. Was any of this your strategy in court? Is this a retaliatory job offer because my son was laid off when you acquired SolarTech? No, Musk replied honestly. It was a business decision. Nothing personal. This is a business decision. I believe you are the right person for this position. Beatrice was satisfied with his response and made her decision. She took off her judicial robe, which she had brought with her in a garment bag, and draped it over the chair, symbolically leaving her previous role behind. Sometimes, she said, echoing Musk's earlier remarks to Layla, you have to do things yourself. Musk stood and extended his hand. Welcome to the team, Beatrice. As they shook hands, they both realized this was the start of something big. Two brilliant minds who had previously met as adversaries were now united in a common goal. Victor Hammond packed up his belongings in a nearly empty office across town. Magnatech's board forced him to resign. The 5-year ban had devastated their energy division, and criminal charges remained pending. He had considered himself clever, stealing ideas rather than creating them. He finally understood what Elon Musk had known all along. True innovation can't be stolen. It must be earned. Thank you for watching. In court, the judge laughs at Elon Musk before being stunned by his legal genius. I hope you enjoyed this story about unexpected courtroom brilliance. Where are you tuning in from today? Please leave your location in the comments below. If this story made your day, please click the like button to help spread kindness to others who may enjoy it as well. If you want to see more engaging stories like this one, click on the video that is currently playing on your screen. Until next time.